Hello my friends, it's episode 16. I'm slightly under the weather, but I still want to play, so I'm going to play. Hopefully it doesn't impact my decision making too badly. And speaking about decision making, it's time for these guys to die. This will be easy. As you move through the MTR station, several figures move to interrupt your advance. The leader is obvious, hulking brute of a troll. He cradles a heavy assault rifle in the crook of his cyber arm and reeks of stale cigarettes and casual brutality. The name Steeltooth is stenciled across the flak vest beneath his jacket, his eyes narrow as you approach. That's far enough for you, punk. Steeltooth gestures towards you with the barrel of his gun, taking a drag from his cigarette. My crew's had a long night. Nerves a little raw, you know. Crunching somebody's face always brightens my mood. Let me speak in small words so you don't misunderstand. He takes a long drag on his cigarette, exhaling the smoke through his nose. Give us the prototype laser or we're going to kill you so hard your ancestors feel it. That's the best insult you could come up with, really? Steeltooth's face twists up in annoyance. To hell with you, little man. You think you're so smart? Let's see how smart you are with a bullet in your skull. Gobbet rolls her eyes, waving a dismissive hand at Steeltooth. Listen, we're all super impressed by the size of your gun, really. But we're not really inclined to give anything to a dumb thug like you. Adults are talking, little girl. Once they're done, maybe you'll be able to run along home and play with your dollies. Until then, shut the hell up. The troll takes one last drag on his cigarette before spitting the butt out onto the tiled floor. Right, cigarette's done, which means your time's up. Hand over the prototype, now. You must be the genius Ares caught breaking in, twice in one night. What are you talking about? Don't be stupid. The troll's shifting stance and wary eyes indicate the depth of his ability to lie. About the same as a puddle. You came in the front door first, and then you came back dressed as a janitor. Hey, shut up, okay? Just shut up. I was doing legwork when the suits weren't telling me nothing. I had to get in and root around a bit, you know. Steeltooth is becoming increasingly agitated. You want to keep your arms, you don't tell anybody about that. I'm not giving you a damn thing. Oh, I see. You want to be a hard case, is that right? Fine. Troll lifts his rifle, sneak down the barrel at you. Light him up. Ow. Let's see. With great speed comes great responsibility. Or something. Okay, he's got 2 armor, I'll have that. Wow, he doesn't have a lot of doesn't have a lot of health. I'm guessing Raptor can get the job done here. Oh. Oops. It was a knee shot with the actual gun. I meant to actually go after him with the melee, but that's fine. Ooh. Lucky. See if I can kill this guy. Oh, got him. There is literally no safe haven here. So it's a stand and fight situation. Such a useless move. Okay, that guy is melee. He moved away. That's so weird. Well, that was dumb. I mean, what even is there to say about that? I guess I'm just gonna powerball these guys to death. Oh! Oh ho ho! Damn! Luck is on my side today, apparently. Oh man, it really is. It almost feels surreal for someone who gets as unlucky as I do on this channel. Oof. That was a spicy hit. I will not allow that to be confirmed, on the off chance that he survives, which he will not. That was easy. Okay. The MTR train pulls away from the station. You become lost in the crowd. Just another face travelling from Central towards Kowloon. Every second puts blessed distance between you and the hornet's nest of knight-errant soldiers you've left in your wake. Data planted and GPS module in your possession, it seems certain that Ares Asia will place the blame for your run at the doorstep of the Red Dragon Association. Here it is, the amazing rifle. A great weapon for a rifle character. Which of course we are not, but we are now tier 4, which is nice. Nice. Upgraded Evil Fog. The reason why you bring her along is to do Matrix stuff. Crowd control grenade was good. Alright, super overclock, sweet. You went to the trawler to find your crew gathered together waiting for you. Isabel has her head buried in her PDA. The rest of the team stand watching her, trying to be patient. What's going on? Isabel paces back, up and back, trying to decide how to begin. I've been doing my homework on Josephine Sang and Sang Medical Services. Spill it. Okay, smoking have forgotten because there's a lot to go over. Isabel lifts her PDA to her face and consults her notes. In 2011, Sang Medical Services was a D-level corp floundering in the shallow end of the Hong Kong corporate pool. That's when Josephine Sui or Shui, married into the family. Josephine thought big. She conceived of a massive project that would catapult TMS to the big time. Something she called the Prosperity Project. Prosperity, that's what Raymond was mumbling about. What's the Prosperity Project? Once upon a time in the 1900s, the whole city was a densely populated slum. Something like 30,000 people crammed into 6.5 acres. Wait, I've heard the story before. It's a shithole, hell on earth, yada yada yada. That's today's walled city, the second walled city. The first walled city started life well over 100 years ago and lasted through both world wars and almost through the Awakening. It was torn down in 1994 when the government had finally had enough. It had become such a haven for criminals that the cops would only enter it in large, well-armed groups. Sounds familiar. In 2021, Josephine Tsang proposed a vision for the new type of low-income housing project, the Prosperity Project, a self-contained, low-cost walking neighbourhood for the poor, but on a grand scale. The Prosperity Project would give Hong Kong's poor and the flood of refugees pouring into the country a place they could call their own. Something that felt more permanent than the sprawling tent city that spontaneously sprang up after the first walled city was demolished. The Prosperity Project would replace the tent city and would be symbolically built on the site of the old walled city. The slogan was, "A place of dignity where prosperity begins." The apartments weren't much bigger than the space you'd get in your average coffin motel, but they were built around plazas and marketplaces that contained goods and services catering to the poor. The government forgot the lessons of the last walled city. They loved the idea of containing the refugees and the poor to only a few densely populated blocks. It kept them out of the public eye. Securing the contract catapulted Tsang Mechanical Services' fortunes ahead, and eventually put Josephine Tsang onto the executive council. That doesn't line up. How did she get so powerful by building a slum? It's a very big slum. Apparently it was also the beginning of a series of lucrative building contracts that propelled TMS into the big time. So where's Raymond come into all of this? Raymond Black doesn't come into it at all, but Edward Tsang does. Is Raymond Black actually Edward Tsang? You got it. What? No, come on. Raymond Black was actually Edward Tsang, the only son of Josephine Tsang and her late husband, Breakwater Tsang. Edward was in charge of laying the groundwork for the walled city, excavation and utilities, running in power lines, sewage, that kind of thing. So our secret foster grandmother is trying to kill us. It looks that way, yeah. Wachter chuckles softly to himself. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Remember that massive grey water leak that flooded the basement back in 48? What about it? Ray didn't know the first thing about sewer lines. He hired a small army of plumbers, probably paid them double what the job was worth to fix the thing, and it still took 2 months to get the leak under control. Not much of a utility expert, her. So if this man was not in charge of utilities for the project, what was he doing down there? I don't know, but Edward Tsang disappeared from the public eye shortly after Prosperity was completed, around 2031. That's about the time he moved to Seattle, around 7 years before he found us. But what happened in the walled city? And what would make Raymond want to go back there now after all these years? That's a question for later. For now, let's make some money. Money, money, money. Your payment is attached, and confess that I'm very pleased with your work. Not every runner who could have pulled off a job of this magnitude. Well done. You have 2 new messages. I'm not in Hawaii right now, so don't bother coming to see me. We'll talk about when I return. Please continue our business ventures in the meantime. Hope you enjoy your newfound success in the shadows. I've got another job for you, one that should prove very lucrative indeed. I've been contacted by an employee of the Eastern Tiger Corporation, and he needs you to steal some research data and biological samples from his employer. Man's name is Tagath Wright. Until recently, he was a researcher on a genetic engineering project. He was cagey with the details, but I gather it's centered around a phenotypic alteration and postnatal genetic enhancement. Unfortunately for Mr. Wright, he's got a conscience. Stupid man. Luckily for us, he's willing to pay to have his conscience assuaged. Wright's project was apparently quite horrible. Experiments on living children, total disregard for biomedical ethics on safety, and when Wright raised concerns, he was taken off the project. He decided to step outside the bounds of the law and expose the wrongdoing to the world. Snag, he sees that his wife and child live in Seoul, not quite the heart of Eastern Tiger's power, but close enough. He's afraid that if he releases the information himself, they'll be taken prisoner and used as leverage. This idiot should have thought of that before. That's not our problem. The samples and the data are currently on the Eastern Tiger cargo ship, the VN Nalchi, sailing near Hong Kong on the way to Seoul. Storms slowed the ship down, so you don't have to go right away, but don't take too long. Once you have the data and the samples, you are to call Wright. I've attached his number. He'll give you instructions on how he wants the information leaked. When you're ready, let me know. I'll arrange transit with Captain Jomo. He's a local Loho Joa pirate and smuggler, but don't let that put you off. He's as good as they get, and he'll have you on that ship without incident. I've let Captain Jomo know you're ready. You can find him down at the end of the pier. My parlour is on. He'll handle everything from there on out. You awaken from a blank, featureless sleep, sweat-soaked and starving. You feel uneasy, but you can't say why. Groggily, you heave yourself out of bed. Right, I think we have to speak to Raptor quickly now that we've done that job for him. I think it upgrades his droid. Ah, my friend, you have done an admirable job. An admirable job indeed. I have already incorporated the technology that you recovered my stolen tech into a new chassis that I'm fabricating. It wasn't a big deal, we were going there anyway. He tips a cigarette, a cone of burning embers tumbles to the ground. As you say. Next time we take to the field, you can expect to find Koshti's combat effectiveness considerably improved. He's become truly deathless, as his namesake was in the legend. When he takes damage, he will mend himself before your eyes. Sounds incredible. Can't wait to see it in action. Nor can I, my friend. He turns back to the whirring machines that fill his shop, their progress with hunger in his eyes. Watching their progress with hunger in his eyes. Nor can I. That's it. Mission complete. Raptor's shop is sweltering hot, even more so than it was the first time you stepped inside. The whir of actuators accompanies fine motions of manipulator arms that hang from the ceiling. They are turning an object over and over and over in their articulated hands, soldering wires and hammering rivets. Ah, my friend, welcome back. I love how this seamlessly links together as if we had just walked in here for the first time. Raptor touch types a series of commands into his bracer. The arms reflex into the idle posture. He smiles at you, cigarette dangling from his lip. There, that's better. Now, what can I do for you? I'm gonna run. I'm not really that interested in doing character side quests, if I'm honest. You can always buy and play the game for like peanuts and go through the mountains of fluff if you so desire. A quick glance around the shop reveals an unusual level of untidiness. The whole place is covered in books sprawled across the floor and piled high atop tables, chairs and desks. Nothing's actually really changed in here, apart from the fact that this guy's turned up. The shopkeeper peers at you from behind a tower of loosely stacked texts. Her eyes are red and weary. Welcome back, haven't seen you lately. Oh yeah, sorry for the mess, I've been real busy. Bolt of lightning that targets a single enemy and does -1 AP. That's quite nice. -1 AP, ongoing -5 HP, and -1 AP for 1 round. That's quite nice too. That could certainly replace one of my my very weak mana ball attack. I'll leave things as they are. What's with the mess, Crafty? You doing some research? Crafty leads forward, strands of black and pink hair falling across her cheeks, places a book on top of the pile before her. You could say that. Tell me, have you had the dreams? Definitely, and more than one. She seems satisfied with your answer and lazily pushed a strand of hair behind her ear. My mother was an avid researcher of the walled city. She kept extensive journals on her findings. You've said all this before! She's saying the same stuff that she said previously in our previous chats. Against my better judgment, I've started reading her notes to see what I can learn about the troops. We were the ones who persuaded you to do that. This conversation is mind-boggling. This is like a previously in the things we've discussed kind of conversation. Her eyes search your face, and for a moment she nods. Tell you what, if you can keep the investigation going on your end, I'll show what I've found. Two minds are always better than one, especially when it comes to dealing with something as abstract as dreams. Okay, that's so weird. Look who it is. This is Stuart, a fine-looking elf, is browsing the shop's collection of talisman herbs and crystals. Noting your approach, she turns to face you. Good evening, my friend. I hope it's been a pleasant one. I've had worse, I guess. Indeed, with so much misery and pain only meters away, permeating the walled city, worse is a quality that is quite tangible here in Hoi. Do not envy those trapped within these boundaries. My name is Ajanon Half Dream, and it is a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. Ajanon does not extend his hand, but he does incline his head politely. It's not quite a bow, but almost. Hello, welcome back from the first game. Are you a mage or a shaman? What makes you think I am either of them? Perhaps I am simply an inquisitive soul. Ajanon smiles and gestures towards the racks of magical accessories on the wall. Of course, a merely inquisitive soul would not be interested in purchasing any of this. Perhaps I am both or neither. The nature of magic is fluid, especially in these tumultuous times, so soon after the dragons have awoken. Too many people try to draw binary divisions between methods of thaumaturgy. God knows. Magic study. Made up word. At the heart of things, there is a will, there is power, and there is change. You have some interesting eyes, do I? I've never really thought about them, to tell you the truth. They allow me to see, and there our relationship ends. Surely, there must be many people away with interesting eyes. Cybersurgery is so common these days as to be almost routine. Most people's eyes don't glow. I suppose that's true, but there are some inexplicable quirks of genetics in this post-awakening world. Birds that can summon lightning, dogs that breathe fire, cats that transform into lions. Glowing eyes seems like a small thing taken in comparison to all of those. Okay, whatever. He's up to no good, but it's not like I can untangle it right now. And I have 13 karma. I don't know where it came from. We got 1 for powering down that machine, and 4 at the end of that mission, and where the extra ones come from, I had no idea. What I do know is that we are almost done with powering up our willpower. Although I suppose there's an argument to be made that what I should do is take an 8 and work on my intelligence a bit. I guess there's an argument to be... Yeah, I'll do it this way. There's an argument to be made, though, of course, that if you don't keep pushing it up, then you'll kind of get bogged down. But 9 is where the human limit is. So any push past that is unique to Dwarf. Oh, an item. It's random. This is worse than the previous inventory system. You used to be able to replace an item with another item. There's Captain Jomo who's going to take me on a magical boat ride. Yeah, there's nothing else I want to do. Could hand over my pay data to maximum law. Maybe I should do a few more missions first. As you pass in front of the walled city, something takes a hold of your chest and squeezes, an internal pang like a panic attack, but worse. You feel your chest compress, and for a second the world turns to liquid. It takes all the effort you can muster to keep from falling over. A strobing patchwork of images flashes before your eyes, fragments of dream and sense memory all stitched together, playing on loop in your head. Walled city residents kneeling, the churning sound of grinding gears, leaning buildings, soiled streets, used needles on a sidewalk. The images come faster and faster. Teeth, thousands and thousands of teeth. The Redmond Barons, and the first man you ever saw killed. A crown of ivory over a shimmering veil. Duncan at age 10, his legs pumping, running for his life from a pack of Halloweeners. Strange anatomy that doesn't make sense to your logical mind. A door, a heavy industrial door. Something is written on it in faded yellow paint, but you can't make it out. And just like that, the sideshow ends. Images fade to nothing, returning you to the Hawaii streets. The outermost facade of the walled city towers over you, huge and oppressive. A group of Kinley Cheng's blue lanterns pass you by, oblivious to the event that just took place in your head. Try to walk it off. You take a step forward, then another. You still feel woozy, but you don't need to take a knee. The event, whatever it was, is over. Your mind is your own. Okay, it's the perfect moment to do something. Fortunately, we've got all the essential food groups covered. Decker, Rigger, and Shaman. Wow. His infected body counts as cyberware. That's funny. That's interesting. Huh. His legs are missing. That's interesting. Right, anyway. Let's go. His legs are missing. He must have left them somewhere. You arrive at the eponymously named Repulse Bay. A gleaming hotel and apartment building on the shores of the Repulse Bay, Hong Kong Island. Rolling storm clouds choke the sky, lending the structure a sinister appearance. As you push through the doors into the building, a sudden break in the clouds reveals a sun that's gone as red as blood. You make your way to the ground floor elevator. The attendant pays you no mind. As the car begins to climb, you hear the sounds of merriment drawing closer. As the doors slide open, you find Neville Mar's party in full swing. Okay. Actually, do you know what? I don't think this is like a combat-heavy mission. I'll just keep these to one side. I need to replace these garbage spells at some point, but I'll save up my money for high-grade spells. As and when they unlock. I might even be able to give Goblet, like, some of these spells at some point. She does not have spellcasting 5. Wow, that's kind of sad. Alright, let's go. The elevator disgorges you onto the mezzanine with little fanfare. Off in the distance, you can hear the sounds of clinking glasses, carefree laughter, and silverware on china. Parties breaking and entering blackmail sounds like a good time to me. Wonder if Neville has an open bar. What's first? I say we go to the party. We'll play it by ear. I don't know the scene any better than you do. It's probably the wisest choice. He strokes his chin and Koshko flexes his articulated limbs in anticipation. Lead on, we will follow. Right. We're out of time. This is the perfect moment to stop. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.